Documentary. And today I have an honorable guest joining me today. His name is Professor Joseph Mbele, and this is his book called Africans and Americans Embracing Cultural Differences. I'm super excited to bring him on. Such an honor, Professor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited. I got your book. And thank you for sending it out. I read it and I feel like today is going to be a therapy session.
That's so neat. Oh,
You know why?
yeah,
Because I don't think we Africans, I don't think we've created spaces to
yeah,
talk about our own side of the whole story.
yeah. That is very true. That's very true. Other people have written about us. It is
Yes.
time we wrote about ourselves.
Yes, and also that we create space
Yeah,
to talk about our reality and how we see and perceive the world,
exactly. That's the thing.
which is what your book has done.
That's
So
the
I want people to go get the book. It's Africans and let me make sure I get it right. Africans and Americans Embracing Cultural Differences. So let me officially introduce you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. In addition to be a professor at St. Olaf College, you actually also run a consultancy called Afri Connection Cultural Consultants.
Yes,
And you work with universities and colleges and students and businesses for cultural exchanges, right? That's how I understand it.
exactly.
Fine. So you were born and raised in Tanzania
Yes,
and educated at the University of Dar es Salaam and
yes,
Wisconsin Madison.
yes,
You teach, you've taught before at the University of Dar es Salaam,
yes.
and over the last 30 years, such an honor, sir. And currently you teach at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota, and you teach literature and folklore, and you've published widely in those fields.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you so much for being here today. Such an honor. And your book, you are also very humorous, like you're funny. Like I love it. Like
I'm so glad, all the Africans who read it like it very much for the same reason. And I'm surprised because I'm East African, I'm Tanzanian, I've never been to West Africa and places like that. But they all say, oh, you're writing about us.
yes.
And
Yes.
they have been very generous with their comments.
Yes, that struck me as well in terms of what you shared in your book as cultural, in terms of older people, having age being a factor in terms of, you
I,
know, it's the same even
yeah,
in West Africa. I'm
yeah,
originally from Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian American.
yes, and the thing is, I'm very lucky. As you said at the beginning, I teach literatures and folklore. And this includes a lot of African literature. So I understand the African values through reading novels and plays and poems. And also, when we talk about folklore, we're talking about traditional stories and myths, legends, folk tales, proverbs. I understand the Nigerians. I understand the Senegalese. I understand the Zimbabweans through these kinds of, explorations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also what made me really part of also what made me laugh, you covered in your book, you covered how we also perceive the world in terms of for example, coming into the US as a student. I came in here for my graduate program in Michigan about 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm laughing already. Like some of the things you talked about. Let me share one of my own experiences. In trying to describe how cold Michigan was. The way when I picked up the phone and trying to call back home and say, I said it's like a deep freezer. It's like, I was like, how do you even describe the cold of Michigan to
Exactly.
people back home where
Yeah.
the weather is on the equator,
Yeah.
it's so warm? I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Mm,
It's like when you open a deep freezer.
yeah. And that's what I tell people in Tanzania also. I use the example of a deep freezer because otherwise, how do you describe the winter?
Below zero. It's
And
below the freezing point.
yes, and you tell them the whole landscape. You step
Mm.
out of your house, it's like you are in a deep freezer.
Yes,
It's the only way to describe it. Otherwise, how do they understand?
exactly. And
People in Lagos, Dar es Salaam, how do they understand?
how do they understand?
Yeah,
Oh, I tell you, when I was reading the book, another one that caught my attention was, this whole idea that even in Africa, there's this misbelief that every white or every Caucasian person
yes.
is rich and intelligent.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Oh Lord, I was reading your book. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, no, you've not seen it. But that's really, when you think about it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the stories, it's the
yeah,
stories that's
yeah,
permeated.
yeah,
While a lot of people think, okay, everybody's rich in America, everybody's wealthy, but the reverse is unfortunately true,
yeah,
where they think all Africans are poor.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And as I say in one of the last pages, uh, ordinary Africans, they are very rural, they work in the fields. And so, you see them wearing these clothes which are tattered. They don't
Mm,
have shoes because of the nature of the work they do.
mhm.
But Westerners will take pictures of those villagers and then promote the image. Oh, look at these people. They are so poor. They don't even have shoes. Look at those kids. And I talk about this,
It's
you know,
misconceptions.
yeah, people keep their clothes for special occasions. See them at weddings, for example.
Oh,
See
have you
them,
gone to
yes,
Nigerian wedding before? You
exactly,
fly? Oh my
exactly.
goodness.
See them at weddings, see them at church or in the mosque, on Friday. Then you will see a very different picture.
Exactly. And that's really true. I think it's just the way the world wants to see others,
That's it.
and the way the
That's
world,
it.
others want to see
That's
themselves.
it. That's
We
it.
always want to put other people down,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we want to
yeah,
misrepresent and say we are XYZ. And I
yeah.
think that's
And,
just
that's why we need to write about ourselves. And when Americans see what I say, it opens their minds, because suddenly they see Africa from the perspective of an African.
mm,
Also, the funny thing is, it's the same African who sees America from the perspective of an African. And the Americans are like, oh my God, we didn't
wow,
imagine, people would see us this way, you know.
wow,
But they're also very happy that they get this dimension also.
wow. I think what people also don't talk about
Yeah,
is what Africa has done for the world
that's
and
another, yeah.
continues to offer the world.
That's a very big part of what I do when I teach African literature. And I think that's one thing I was looking forward to, talking about what Africa has accomplished and how it has helped to shape the world, even in business. And that was really why I was so happy to be, invited to your show, because there is that dimension. Africa is the cradle of the human race. Humans evolved there. And so they built all these things we are talking about, you
Mm,
know, technology and language and philosophy and
mm,
storytelling, literature, it all evolves there. Business, and
wow.
that's your field.
Yes.
The Africans were trading, thousands of years, and you come to, say, the Middle Ages, they are trading across the Sahara. They built networks, and you always talk about networks.
Mm,
They built the protocols, the modalities of doing business. So nowadays, when people talk about all kinds of things, including literature, that's my field, they just forget that it starts in Africa with the
wow.
evolution of language. You know,
Wow.
in fact, I have a cap. I didn't bring it. It says "Make Africa Great Again." Yeah, I just forgot to bring it on the show. That would have been perfect.
That would be really, really
Yeah,
perfect, given the context of where the world and America is right now. So,
exactly.
wow.